Welcome back to Music for Dummies. This is lesson 8, calling it the relative minor. The relative minor. We'll review real quick again. Lesson 1, we learn notes and steps. Some have sharps, some don't. Whole steps and half steps. We learn scales, rules for what notes would sound good in a pattern. Chords, how to pick certain notes that you could play together and sound good in a chord. Talked about 3-chord theory, major chords, the 3 major chords that sounded good together. And this lesson today fits right into that. This goes right along with that. We talked about tonality, pendulum, music coming back to a center, pulling you in. We talked about notation, looking at sheet music, just a little introduction to that. And last time we talked about the circle of fifths, circle of fourths. And today's lesson, I think, ties right into that, as you're going to see. So this relative minor, why are we studying relative minor? What is it? What are we getting into here? Well, again, I do think this ties into that circle of fifths. You're going to start seeing graphically some things where it fits right in to some of the things we're learning in our last lesson. And I believe this little bit of knowledge starts to help to tackle scales, like knowledge of major and minor scales and how scales might seem at first overwhelming. There's so many, but how they're related. And learning one scale is usually at least learning 2 scales at the same time. They're the same scale a lot of times. So hopefully you'll start to see that. And another thing, and maybe the most important thing, you're studying hard to get knowledge to be a better musician or to be able to play. And this opens the door for playing more variety, not just using major chords, using minor chords, and basically almost using all the chords, if you will. So opens your door musically. So this relative minor. Well, what it is, as always, we're basing on the C major, just easy to start with, no sharps and flats. So we have a C major scale, or any scale. But in the C major, we've looked at our notes, followed that rule, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Found that they had no sharps or flats. Let me get the right pointer here. And what's interesting, there's our notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, no sharps or flats. The minor scale, now we're looking at a major scale here, but the minor scale, based on the 6th note of that, is called the relative minor. So here in C major, what's my 6th note? Well, it's an A. So they're saying this A is my relative minor to C major. So there's a relationship between C major and A minor. And let's look here. What's so important about that? The major scale and the relative minor scale have the same notes. That's what's amazing. Look at this. If I start looking at A as the start and follow the rules for the natural minor, whole step, half step, whole step, half, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And you might recall the first lesson where I at least mentioned there was a minor scale, that there were other scales. We stuck A there. We had C and A, and I did that on purpose. But at the time, we didn't mention it. We needed to regain some knowledge. But the exact same notes. If I'm in C major, no sharps or flats. If I'm in A minor, no sharps or flats. Sometimes they'll say they're the same key signatures, a word they'll say, things like that. Another thing as we're looking today, just again, a lot of knowledge, but you use Roman numerals a lot in music, or at least guitar. You can. The uppercase Roman numerals are for major chords. So we learn 3-chord theory, the 1, 4, 5. You're going to see that 1, 4, and 5 in uppercase Roman numerals a lot of times. And we use lowercase Roman numerals for the minor chords. It's just a notation, just something they do common. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh man, math class. Now I have to start using Roman numerals too, but you might have had trouble with them. Hopefully you can get them down pat. So here we are, 3-chord theory. You're seeing that 1, 4, 5 uppercase. They're major. But you're going to see often, like we just learned the relative the sixth is a minor. So you know you're going to often see 1, 4, 5 and a lowercase 6 used together. Sounds good together. So you've got at least one more chord to use now as you play music or write songs. The 1, 4, 5, and the 6. But nearly every other chord, and there's not many left, only 2 or 3, are minor, not major. So it ends up, you have the 1 major, 2 is minor and sounds good, 3 is minor and sounds good, the 4 and 5 that you know are major, the relative minor, and then there's this diminished chord, the 7th, that we're not going to talk about at all today. But here you've got 6 chords, 3 major, 3 minor, that sound good together. Now we've expanded you to 2 more chords that you can add. You got 6 chords that you know are going to sound good together. So let's look at this circle now. Last lesson we used the circle. We've just learned about relative minors. A lot of things can come together here, and it's just neat stuff, and it can help you musically. You don't even have to look at this circle when you've got it in your brain, but it is neat to look at it and analyze it. And some people do buy on the internet. You can spin a little circle card, and it can help you transpose and all kind of stuff here. But let's look at this circle now that we had. Remember, we had this was part of our circle of fifths going this way. And there was our fourths kind of going that way. But watch what happens here. If I pick C as my key I'm in, it's my 1. And if we know our 4th can be major, that's F. Remember, we went fourths in that direction. Remember that? When it was our 4th is F. We know we can use our 5th major. That's our G. And let's add a little more. We knew our 6th relative minor. You're going to see sometimes notated in circles like this where the relative minor is slammed in the middle like that. And it helps you visually know, C, A minor, G, E minor. He happens to be the 6th of that guy. And then, boom, here is F's relative minor, it turns out, D minor. That ends up being your 2 for C. Finally, the relative minor, G, E minor. G, E, boy, if my brain, G, A, B, boy, my brain's not working. G, A, B, C, is that right? My brain is not working. G, A, B, C, D, E, right. We were trying to get to the 6th, the relative minor. It is an E minor. He sounds good. I'm going to draw a triangle there. You'll see this sometimes. They focus in to that section, and you've got these chords you can use now. And there's something neat happening there that the 4th, my 4th, you end up being the 5th of the guy. That's why this works. F is the 4th of C, but C is the 5th of F. Just turns out that's the interval between them that you can keep going around this way, because suddenly what used to be my 4th, I'm now his 5th, and the circle just keeps going around. And that's part of the reason why those can fit in there, that there's such a relationship between them. But so now we see that we can have C, F, G, the 1, 4, 5, and we could take the relative minor of all those guys and get like a D, A, and E. Another one quickly, if I pick G as my root key, I can know my other majors are my 4 and 5. I can find my relative minors of each of those guys. That's my 2 of the G and the 3 of my G. Turns out the relative minor of my 4 is my 2, and the relative minor of my 5 is my 3. But boom, I put my triangle. If I'm playing G, C, D, I can also play A minor, E minor, and B minor. I know we went quick there, but I hope it was enough to give you an idea of how this circle and the relative minors, how you can start picking chords. Let's go a little bit more here. So let's apply just a little bit before we move on. I'm trapped there. Oh, my strap's trapped. Come on. And I forgot to set this up, so I'm just going to stretch me down here. I meant to set that up, and we'll just do it that way. Make me a little bit bigger. So using this, if I picked the key of C, and I had my 1, 4, 5 and my relative minors, you can write it this way: the 1, the 4, the 5 major, the minors. Oops. And if I draw them out for you, the C, the D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. Those are my chords that would sound good in the key of C. D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, back to C. See how they sounded good? They didn't sound like they crashed. They kind of sounded good together. They do. That's by the theory of music. But here, this is where they start making songs and picking chord progressions. Like the 1, 4, 5 can be like we started out strumming. You might remember, at least in the guitar courses, going C, F, G, like 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. Back to 1. But I might say, oh, I want to try the progression of chords of 1, 5, 6, and then the 4. And one way that would sound would be like C, G, A minor, then the F, C, G, the A minor, and then I lost track, F, I think. But what's neat, listen to that this way. Let's see here. Let me play it up here. I'm used to playing that in A. I'm going to transpose that to key of A. Same thing. This might sound those same chords. Listen to this. A little bit of a different sound there, but you've heard that, haven't you? You've heard that progression. And let's pick another one. Watch this one. The 1 to the relative minor, the 6th, then to the 4 and the 5. This is old time 50, 60 rock and roll. Listen to this. So, we'll stop there for today, but you can see how making a song, knowing what chords to use, picking your key, and maybe sometimes you write the lyrics and try to make the chords fit. Sometimes you take the chords and maybe try to work the words in. Try to make it fit the pattern you're trying to follow. But some good music stuff here. I hope it was beneficial. I know it's deep, but we're doing this trying to give you knowledge to build and know and get better and grow. And so much more to say, but we'll have to stop for today.